All right, let's get this show on the road. If we haven't been on the road yet, then we're on the road now. Welcome everyone to Chronologically Gaming. You are in the pre-show. Started playing all the games released in 1971, and we are going to finish November 1982 tonight. All consoles, handhelds, computers, and arcade games all over the world. No video game left behind, even the bad ones. Sometimes I wish we skipped the bad ones, but we try to play everything that's possible to play or possible to emulate, because we wouldn't be able to do this show if we weren't able to emulate. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Friday. Usually Fridays are a slower day, more chill, relaxed, getting ready for the weekend. We've already done quite a bit of games in the arcade, and today is pretty much arcade, which is where I want to be in November 1982. I've tried to find any reference of someone who actually made the game or created the game that pronounces it. You can do your best to reach out to AI and have it pronounce it, but it's pretty difficult. I'm going to do my best, and maybe what I say will be what everyone says the game is, because if you happen to see the episode of Pleiades, I started off and I had no idea how to pronounce the Pleiades game. Pleiades. I said several things. This isn't the first time, though. There's quite a bit of games that you really don't know how to pronounce. And I'm talking about in English, because obviously we're going to be playing video games from other countries that will have languages that'll be difficult to pronounce, but we'll do our best. Hi, GSE Stream. Happy Friday. And Mark's here. How's it going, Mark? Welcome to the pre-show. All right, Punk Rock Bikers here. Hello. Welcome in. How's everybody doing this Friday? This will be great, because we're going to be done with November 1982. All the video games so far after this evening. Yeah, everyone start putting in the chat what you think the game is, or how you think the game's pronounced. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Let's make the game totally unpronounceable. Yeah, it was a long November. Have we been in November since... Has it been 5 months that we've been in November on Chronologically Gaming? I haven't kept track, but it's been quite a bit. But if you thought November was long, we're going to be in December even longer. But to tell you the truth, right after December is when we do all the video games that we couldn't find the definite release date for in 1982. That's every video game that I have no idea when it was, but it was sometime in 1982. And that's going to be really long. Yeah, it sounds about right. We usually label the games or mark the games for the release date if we can find it, but then if we don't, we just put the date as the end of the month. That's why all these games were labeled the 30th of November, even though they really didn't come out. But it's going to be kind of refreshing if we ever get to later 80s and can pinpoint some of the release dates where we have lots of games released for the actual day they came out. Would be pretty cool. Oh yeah, it was 82. Well, 83. There's just a lot more games. I don't know if you consider a good year or not, but we'll see about that. All right, on with the show. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We've done it! We played every video game starting all the way back in September 1971, and we played everything that was released in November 1982, and then we just started to play the games that were released sometime in November 1982. And after tonight, we will have played every video game up to November 1982, so say goodbye. We were last in the arcade checking out Zor. Look at that, a scrolling shoot 'em up. I mean, we're talking pretty high quality. Let's see what the next game is. It's more and more hits in the arcade. This one is called Zoom 909. If you're looking at this and say, wait a second, I think I know this game. This is the first way it was released. Let's check out the advertisement flyer for Zoom 909. Venture into the dark and mysterious outer space. This is our 560-second game we've seen in the arcade thus far. And look down in the bottom right. This one's going to be good because it's by Sega. This is the 42nd game that we've seen by Sega on all systems. Imagine a world where there's only 42 games that Sega has done. And that's not including Sega Gremlin, which I'm thinking is a different company. Sega's done 39 games. This is the 39th that we've seen in the arcade so far. At home, they got one game on the Atari 2600 and two on the ColecoVision, and that is it. That just blows my mind. This advertisement flyer is showing lots of screenshots because this game speaks for itself. When you see this in the arcade, you are blown away. There's the advertisement flyer. Oh man, it is sci-fi all the way. And that's right, Punk Rock already said it in the chat. This is later going to be released as Buck Rogers' Planet of Zoom. This is the first time we're going to see it from the first release in Japan as Zoom 909. And we will be seeing Buck Rogers later when it's released. It's coming up pretty soon. You flip over the advertisement flyer on the back and we got even more screenshots. We have the enemy points. Look at that artwork. The sprite work is so good. Looks awesome. And there's the arcade PCB. You're going to need a lot to run this one. There's the arcade control panel. This is using an 8-way trigger stick. So you're going to be shooting off your bullets using the trigger, moving the joystick around, and you even have, wait a second, that has a fire button down below, but it also has the fast and slow buttons too. So you have the fire, you can increase the speed and then reduce the speed. And there's the example of the screenshot. So this one, we don't have the manual for this first version of Zoom 909. So let's just go to the arcade and play Zoom 909 by Hideki Ishikawa. Released at some time in November 1982. Hideki Ishikawa will later do the game Flicky that we're going to be seeing, I think, in 1983. But then after that, he does a lot of really good pixel work and character designs for some of the characters that you would consider beloved. So this is the first time that we've seen Hideki Ishikawa on the show, or the first game that he was involved with. All right, so this is, I mean, right off the bat, this is just really cool. It is what we would call a chase view rail shooter. So it's a game on rails. You're going to be shooting a bunch of stuff up, and you can actually see the ship and move the ship around. Well, I just want to get right into it. Let's play. Put a coin in, flying through space with Zoom 909. Wow. So there's my fire button. I have my speed up. I can go max speed. And I can slow down. Look at that, and just go to the speed of 1. Now it looks like we're telling everyone to pass on the interstellar highway. So on this screen, I can only move about halfway, not even halfway, third of the way up the screen, and then come back down. It's also controlled, the joystick is controlled with absolute control. So when I move up on the joystick, it goes up. When I go down, it moves down. It's not using what we've seen with a lot of space combat simulators, where it's reverse controlled like you would have on a plane. But I have freedom all around the screen. So now that we're on this second mode, I can now go a lot higher up, avoid the shots, but wow. I'm already seeing, this is the same technology we saw Sega use with Sub-Rock 3D. That's what this first makes me think of, which is the beginning of sprite scaling. Look at this. That's so cool. And yeah, this definitely looks like the trench run. I saw someone say this that Star Wars, or the poor man's Star Wars. We have yet to see the Star Wars arcade game. That's going to be later in 1983. Oh gosh, Explosion looks awesome though. If you look in the top right, it's giving us the round and section that we're part of. Actually, why am I trying to go between the barriers? I don't think I have to, right? This isn't skiing. I'm not going to get points for it. The other thing that's interesting is, I'm not sure if it's the emulation, but whenever I move my ship around, it automatically sends me back to the center. It's like a little drift action we have. All right, we got our high score. We can put it in the high score table so everyone can see how many times I blew up. You can resume play at the same sector. Whoa, push the start button. Go, go. That means there's a continue feature. Quick. Oh, look, you can take over where you left off and go to the next. Oh, that's great. So you can just keep playing. How far can you go and see higher and higher sectors? That is the new wave of arcade games. It is not just over and over again score attack. Well, this one still is score, but you can actually continue where you left off if you have enough money. It's pay to play all the way. Yeah, Sega was taking their formula and just building upon the other games. All right, now we got some boss action here. Got to blow up the turrets around the outside. Wow, this is so amazing. Now, what I don't think though is this game is not stereoscopic 3D like we saw with Sub-Rock 3D. It was using the same technology, but that one actually had stereoscopic three-dimensional view. This one is just playing off what you see here on the screen. Wow, this is great. Enemy types and what they have for you to fight against is so good. We are being destroyed. But we clear away and then put our high score in. This is fun. Yeah, and just keep going. Yes, quick. We got enough money. I want to speed. Maybe slow us down a little bit. Or speed us up. Let's go max speed. Crank it up. This is awesome. So this style of game with this view of game is the chase view rail shooter that we would define on the show, and this is the 6th game we've seen that's like this, or presented this way. Games like Space Encounters by Midway in the arcade, Explorer by Data East, Zaxxon on the Atari 2600 did this kind of view. They didn't go for the isometric view, but they did go for this kind of behind-the-view rail shooter, or chase view rail shooter. And then the game Rougian that we saw in the arcades had a mode that was like this, or very similar to this. It was very well done. This one seems to be a little bit more impressive, and the frame rate seems to be higher. It doesn't feel like I'm being tricked as much. Rougian felt like I was cheating a little bit, but of course they're cheating to make the game play that way. All right, let's go in, keep putting in our high score. This is really, really good. Couldn't say 8 points short of the previous score. Yeah, we're doing the best we can. I thought I was going to get away with flying through multiple, but I guess not. So now round 2, sector 5, and I've said this with a lot of the arcade games. Even though they want you to do a score attack style game, having an objective of how far you can go and see the next round or sector is awesome. Let's blow up some of the mines here, and let's crank the speed up. Wow, yeah. This one has many more enemy types than we saw with Sub-Rock 3D, and this is just a lot more fun to play. Being able to go round to round. Boss mode, you can see we've already pretty much looped because we're on round 2. Oh, they flew right into me. Yikes. There was another game we played kind of like this on home computers called The Force, but it's obviously not presented as well as this. It was on the TRS-80 color computer, but it was the same concept. You can see your ship, you're flying around with it, blow them up. Oh, that's awesome. Nice play. Go on. Go on. When we first played Turbo in the arcades, I called that proto super scaling. Pole position. It's like we've merged from proto superscaler technology to actual superscaler. All right, here we go. This is best one so far. Put the score in. Feels strange doing it with a trigger stick. Yeah, colors are excellent too. I love the continue feature as well. So not a lot you can compare to this, but you obviously know where this is going to go. This game is going to lead us to Space Harrier. I'll pretend it doesn't. I don't know what that is because we haven't seen it. We're not going to see it for quite some time. But this is the beginnings of it. This is basically like that. It still plays so well. Man, it's a lot of fun too. That's awesome. So that's Zoom 909. I want to keep going. That was one I could pump tons and tons of quarters in. But this is Zoom 909, so it'd be pumping tons and tons of yen. Of all the games you could play on everything available in the arcade, this is excellent. This is one of the top tier games. Whatever we rate Zoom 909, I'll be rating the same for Buck Rogers' Planet of Zoom as well. I look over in the chat, we got Jeremiah throwing out 4 stars for everything that you could play right now available in the arcade. And James is saying 4.5. Punk Rock saying 4.5 or 5. Yeah, MTissy saying 4. I want to say higher than 4 stars. Kun saying 4.5. I only saw 1.5 so far up to this point, which would be the best or top tier. This is pretty good. I gave Pole Position 5 when we got it. That one is a different kind of concept. Yeah. Oh, that'd be a really fun time if it was first time playing it too. Yeah, I don't know if I can go as high as 5. It's not something as iconic as Pole Position, or the kind of scalar technology we've seen. Sub Rock 3D also had the stereoscopic 3D. So I'm wanting to say about 4.5 stars for everything you could play right now in the arcade. It is still one of the best games right now in the arcade. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. I guess we can only go downhill from here. Let's go to the United Kingdom and play on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This is Zzyzzyxx Poker. And that is not the box. That is the magazine. Because I'm going to have to change the date for this one. This is the April magazine of computer and video games. Originally appeared as a type-in game in the April issue that's right here. So this video game may be another contender for one of the very first games you ever played on the ZX Spectrum. So this magazine was, you could type it in for both, basically. This is the second time we've seen a video game we typed in from computer and video games, the other one being Robo Run. But there it is, Zzyzzyxx Poker. Artwork for you, and then you flip to the right page and then type it all in. And it says runs on the ZX81. Yes, this is for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Yeah, so this is more like a slightly backlog. Whenever I came across this game, because we're going through them in alphabetical order right now for November, I realized, wait a second, it was available first on the ZX81, and you could have played it on the ZX Spectrum at that time too. So we'll do it now, and I'll just change the date. Let's type it and play Zzyzzyxx Poker by David Lamb. Way to go, David. Released at some time in April 1982. We're like covering all our bases here. All right, so this is poker. Oh gosh. They're actually doing it only in text. We have 5 cards, and we have to read out every single card. A 3 of clubs, diamonds. We got 2 spades. Okay, bet now. We got a maximum of 10. Enter the number of cards you want to change. I'll change 1 and 2. Give me more spades. Oh, I didn't get spades. And then, so you play against the computer. The computer shows their hand. And is there no... Well, I guess we did draw. So we did draw poker, but what in the world? Yeah, I wasn't expecting text adventure for this. They're changing 4 cards. I don't think we didn't even have anything. They won with an ace high. Oh my gosh. So this is obviously a poker video game. It's the 12th poker video game we've played thus far, and everyone bask in the glory, because this is the worst video game of poker that we've seen so far. That's another reason I wanted to show it. Of course, it was type in, so it's not as fair for all the games you could play, but that's it. It is draw poker only against the computer, and it's all in text. There is no graphics of cards, even though we've seen graphics of cards on plenty of home consoles right now. So I don't know if you have fun with it or not, but I'm sure if you wanted to play a game of poker, you might find some enjoyment. But for all the games you could play across all home computers around this time, this is around the 1-star range. James is saying 1 star too. Yes, a pair should beat high card, Jeremiah. I'm with you there. Yeah, I should have folded too. Yeah, I'm going to have to go 1 star. It's like borderline broken because of all the things you could play. I mean, we even played really good poker. Ken Ustin's blackjack and poker is like top tier right now. Yeah, MTisty. Yeah, 1 star it is for Zzyzzyxx Poker. All right, now let's see what our next game is. This is it, the event everyone's been waiting for. It's the game at the bottom of everyone's video game list. It's Zzyzzyxx. And I am pronouncing that the best I can because I don't really know exactly how to pronounce this title. I mean, look at this. Look at this. That's the title of your game? Really? That's the one you pick of all the games you could pick right now? This game is only available in the arcade, which means it never got ported anywhere else. It is the 563rd game we've seen in the arcade so far. So this advertisement flyer has all the characters in the game. They're kind of doing what Pac-Man did. We're playing as Boris, which is the green-looking alien guy, and then we have other Radigans, which are running around as different characters. Boris, Bluto, Smoot, and then our girlfriend Lola that's here on the front of the advertisement flyer. It kind of looks like the same guy as Mr. TNT, Charlie. It feels that way. That's another good point, Punk Rock. Maybe they just fell asleep at the keyboard and just said, all right, whatever, print it. But it's obviously pronounced Zzyzzyxx. This is Zzyzzyxx. This is Cinematronics' 15th video game we've seen so far. The only game that they've done at home has been Armor Attack for the Vectrex that we've seen. Everything else has been in the arcades with really good games like Embargo, Ripoff, Star Castle, Boxing Bugs, and War of the Worlds, just to name a few. So what are you doing, Cinematronics? What is this? Are they trying to do something cutesy like Pac-Man? Well, you flip it over the back and they have the gameplay, really, really tiny on the advertisement flyer, but this was made for operators of arcade establishments or someone that wanted to buy the whole thing. It has different features for the operator and then play features. Maximize your profits by buying whatever you want to pronounce this game. And James says this game feels British. It was everywhere. At least I saw worldwide release. Cinematronics put all their stuff out everywhere. There's the example of the arcade cabinet for Zzyzzyxx. Zzyzzyxx. I'll just pronounce it differently every single time I say it. They're really making a cartoony style game, at least on the outside. And there's the arcade PCB for Zzyzzyxx. And the control panel is pretty simple. All we have is a 2-way vertical joystick and then 1 button to make a brick. Really, really simplistic idea. Yeah, that's all we have for controls. Oh, double Z. There we go. Zzyzzyxx. Zzyzzyxx. There's the arcade marquee for Zzyzzyxx. Be careful. Can't put too many X's in there. And there's the example of the screenshot. Another game in the arcade, we don't really have the manual or operator's manual. We did have the advertisement flyer, and they did explain the game. So if we flip it over, it says that players will feel as they move Zzyzzyxx up and down horizontal rows, alternating moving bricks to gather presents that will satisfy his love, Lola, whose affection is not easily captured. They don't show you how to pronounce the game here. I really thought they would. Yeah, it only says, it just has the name, but they don't have a pronunciation for it. And intelligent as the ratifiers may be, ratifers may be, there's 2 defense Zzyzzyxx can use to outsmart the destructive creatures. He can brick himself within a brick that he sees with a ratifer coming and move into a space where there's a gold helmet. Yeah, so they don't really have a story, but they have a breakdown of the gameplay over on that side. Well, that's helpful. And this game is also known as Bricks, which I bet they changed the name afterwards because, you know, no one could pronounce what in the world this was. But we're not going to play the Bricks version. That's a little bit later. B-R-I-X. We're going to go to the arcade and play Zzyzzyxx. This is by Advanced Microcomputer Systems, released at some time in November 1982. There we go. Oh, look, they're introducing all the characters with some quality public domain music. There we go, and I bet they're going to give us how to play. Yes, get helmet. That's helpful. Looks like a Viking helmet. Use the helmet to break bricks. You only break 1. And then use the helmet also to trap ratifers. You can trap them inside the brick. And all of the enemies have a name, kind of like they did with Pac-Man. You want to gather all the gifts for Lola, and it says Lola wants more gifts. And when she has enough gifts, she's happy, and you can take those gifts to Lola, so that means you can go to where Lola is at the end. And Charlie says that in the bottom left corner, Lola looks pretty cute. Well, I guess everyone has their own personal taste. Oh, by the way, this right here on the bottom right, there's where we are. That's us, Boris. He looks less like a Boris, in my opinion. But he looks like a jaunty, fun fellow. I know, you probably have lots of questions about the game, but hopefully I explained as much as I can so we can actually play this. Advanced Microcomputer Systems, this is the first time that we've seen this company. Next year, this is the company that will do Dragon's Lair. So they went from this and eventually make Dragon's Lair. I don't know how that works. All right, let's go ahead and put a coin in. And let's go. I'm at the bottom of the screen. It is vertical orientation. Let's pick up some gifts for Lola. Oh, I missed the lollipop, but what you need to do is make your way to get all the gifts. If you just sit here in this spot, you'll wrap around. Oh, but if one of the ratifers gets you, then you lose a life. It's very simplistic with the two-way joystick. Oh, one gift? That's all she needed? I need to get out of here. I'll cleverly make my way to the top and get away from all these ratifers. There you go. And if you make it to the top, then you're in love. Our character kind of looks like Crazy Otto, which was the prototype or the hacked version of Pac-Man that they designed before they did Miss Pac-Man, CCE. And he kind of looks like that. All right, let's pick up more gifts. Oh, more than a flower. All right, you just needed 2, so I got the present. All right, we're looking good. We'll get one more present, and oh, he got us right before. Very quaint game. In fact, this makes me feel like it could have been released earlier because it's such a simple idea and concept, but there is video games we've seen that play like this, but we haven't seen them in the arcades. I wonder if they made any money off of this, because it's just very easy to get into and play. So this is our last life. We're not doing very good with gifts right now. Oh. And we're dying very fast too. So I would consider this game still a variant of Frogger. You're going from one side of the screen to the other, and obviously there's not a jumping, but you really didn't. I know you were hopping as a frog, but you still had to move at the top. But this one's kind of dumbing that down. In a way, it's simple, like the game Freeway, which is also a variant of Frogger too. But it's arcade-style game all the way. Go! All right, let's try it again. This is the 38th game we played that is similar to Frogger. Go across the screen, go do something, and then come back sometimes. But there's games we played where it was all happening on one side of the screen. This is really close to a game we played on the TRS-80 Coco called Conveyor Belt. And it really reminds me of that. Plus, there's Freeway and Chicken that play like this. And then we played a game called Meltdown on the Atari home computer. Meltdown had conveyor belts like this on one of the sections. Meltdown is really good. Now that I realize I'm playing this in the arcade and I played something better than this at home on the Atari home computer, it's pretty good. Yeah, where's the helmets? I haven't seen the power-ups. When we do get the helmet, you only can get the... You only can do the brick one time. Let's get up there. Go, 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 and... We're in love! Alright, then we make our way to the bottom. There's more... They're filling this game up with tons of Polydome music. I think that's the Saber Dance. And then we heard another... Was that, Nope. Didn't time it right. So there is a patience element to it because you do have to wait till you wrap around the other side. Let's mess with the dip switches this time, right? Let's have some fun with this. Can we change this up? Oh, 3 lives is the max you can have? Demo sounds, bonus life, starting laps, second bonus, difficulty of pleasing Lola. You can change how difficult. I guess that every one of these arcade cabinets has that. And then we do want to show intermissions. Yes. Extra lives. 5. Let's do that one. It helps a little bit, but I was hoping we could get some more into play. I want to be able to see further because I didn't even see the power-up yet. We'll get that, and then quickly before the Radifers come. Gosh. You have to plan out your route to make it to the top. Maybe we'll get a power-up at the top. It might be because this isn't a very popular company that's making this game, at least right now. Go, go, go. And then round 1 complete. Let's see if we can go there, there. I got a little bit of iframes when you first start out to help you. But then now we got to be more cautious of the other enemies. I also don't know if the Radifers do like have different AI for things. Yeah, I don't know if one's going a certain direction or if they have anything smart, but they don't have that much movement. Quickly get up there. But I do know I'm not having as much fun as I would if I was playing Donkey Kong, man. Donkey Kong's so much fun. This does feel like it should have been a game released 81 or maybe even 79. Not that old, but it just feels like it's, or maybe it's something that should have been done on a computer rather than in the arcade. All right, quickly. You also have to do a lot of waiting. Don't you love it when video games make you wait for stuff? I also might be impatient because we went from Zoom 909 and Zor to this. If we were all in an arcade that had every arcade cabinet at this time, you wouldn't. I don't think you'd have the patience to play Zzyzzyxx. You wouldn't have the patience to pronounce it either. All right, there we go. So if I had anything good to say, it's that it feels more like a golden age or classic arcade game, where it's something, you know, you would need to figure out the best strategy to keep playing. Also notice there's no continue feature. You can't just keep going and see other boards or grids. But where in the world's the power-ups? Where's the helmet? Do I gotta hang around a lot longer to get the helmet? It's not showing up. So I'm already getting some ratings being thrown out. We got Paul saying 2.5 to 3 stars of all the games you could play in the arcade right now, November 1982. Would it be funny if this game was the very first game released in November 1982? Because I don't really know when it was released, but the first arcade cabinet was put in production November 1st, 1982, with this title. All right, we did it, but now we got to make our way all the way down to the bottom. And then we got a 2.5 from Jeremiah in the chat. Mostly average around, yeah, that's around average. Did anyone say bad? Has anyone said the bad range, which is our 2-star range? Mostly everyone's around the 3-star range. If you've been keeping up with the show and seen all the games we've played in the arcade so far, there are so many really good ones. So this one isn't doing other favors because we have seen some arcade games that have done stuff we haven't seen before, but it was still fun. Like an example would be Splat. Splat was out there. It was weird. Eyes was another one. But this one, uh-oh, great. I don't think I can make it now. Yep. I had to loop all the way around, and then I died. Wow. So it looks like no one in the chat has said anything about this arcade game being a bad game for all the games you could play. And I would agree, it's not bad. It is fairly average for all the games you could play right now. But we've seen what the arcade can do. Arcade games are amazing. I was actually thinking more, maybe 3.5 stars, but it really should have been something that we saw on home computers. And it's just really crazy seeing it from the company that's going to eventually do Dragon's Lair next year. Yeah, where was that power-up? What in the world are they talking about? Well, I want to try, let's try one more time. Maybe we got to go to further levels. Or I'm just really bad at Zzyzzyxx. 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 Uh-oh. Oh, we couldn't go to Lola. She wasn't satisfied. We didn't get any presents that time. There you go. Mark says I like it. Yeah, I actually wouldn't call it bad. It's all right. What was your rating, Mark? Did you put one out there? If you were in November 1982 and you were in the arcade, out of 5 stars, what would you give Zzyzzyxx? Nope. Come on, quick. Get me up there. When we played Conveyor Belt on the TRS-80 color computer, which this is heavily feels almost the same kind of game, this one is a lot more polished than that. Let's see if we can do this. And the presentation's really good. I'm also surprised we're not seeing the cutscenes. Oh, there's a helmet. Quick, get it. So you can hide yourself in, and I think you can only do it for 1 brick, right? Oh, no, you can do more. You can. Yes. The power-up. Oh, Lola's still waiting. I gotta go find more gifts. Okay, that's pretty cool. Jeremiah's saying there's a plastic surgery gift in there. I don't know, maybe not in this level. We'll have to check the other ones. And what do you mean? I think Lola looks great the way she is now. She doesn't need to change anything. Yeah, it does make me want to go get to Buck Rogers. Stat. Another one. Gosh, yeah, you got to think ahead for it. But yeah, you'd get a handle on the game pretty good. Yeah, the highest I would think to go would be 3.5 stars of all the games you could play right now in the arcade. I wouldn't call this one a excellent arcade title. I'd still say fairly average for everything you could play up to this point. Most people say, it looks like Mark went to 3.5 stars. So I'd still say it's pretty average for everything you can see up to this point. Yeah, this could have been really good if it was console or on home computer. But in the arcade, there's just too much competition. Zzyzzyxx, we'll see you later. Or Bricks, we could also just call it Bricks, which was the re-release. Alright, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. Thanks again for joining me playing every single video game, and this was the end of November 1982. That was the very last game. I guess we threw one in for April 1982 just because, you know, we can. We're still trying to play every single game, making no game left behind. And so next time on Chronologically Gaming, it will be the first games of December 1982. We'll have adventure, simulation, and go to the arcade and be Bond. Super Bond. That's it for today, and like I always say, if Lola wants to be with you for the gifts, then it's time to ditch Lola. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.